People really like what they're seeing, at least compared to where Donald Trump started 8 years ago, right? All right, this is Donald Trump's net approval rating. This is Reuters Ipsos. It's among adults. It was taken the first few days of this administration. Look here. Back in January 2017, Donald Trump became the first president in history to start his presidency with a net negative approval rating. Look at where we are now in January 2025. Considerably better at plus 6 points. That's up 9 points. To borrow a Donald Trump phrase, this is big league. This is a sign that the American people, at least initially, like what they're seeing. And so you see right here, more Americans approve of Donald Trump's job than disapprove. And that is very much unlike what we saw 8 years ago.
So compare the rating now to the entire first term.
Yeah. So it's not just that he's doing better than where he was doing 8 years ago. It's that he's doing better than he ever did during his entire first administration. So I again looked
He never was over +3?
He was never over +3. The highest rating his highest ever net approval rating was +3 in March of...
Your choice of photo is quite
He likes
amazing.
what he's seeing. He's smirking at the American media.
He just doesn't like you.
Maybe not, although he should like these numbers and the way I'm presenting them. You look at January 2025, look at that. Again, you get +6. So Donald Trump isn't just in a better position than he was 8 years ago at this point. He's in a better position than he was at any point during his entire first term. Things have very much turned around. This is a very different Donald Trump. He's leading a very different administration, the way he's attacking things. And the American public is very much more in line with him than they were at any point during his entire first term.
I would say, correction, this is not a very different Donald Trump. This is a very different Donald Trump as being viewed by voters in this
In the way he's going about things with Susan Wiles leading things. I think he is, going at things in a much less disorganized fashion, much more organized.
Take me back in history.
Take you back in history. So it was so interesting to me that Donald Trump's first net approval rating of his second term is higher than his entire first term. And I was interested, has that ever happened? Has the second term net approval rating in the first month, have you ever had a higher rating than any net approval rating during the entire first term? Donald Trump is the only...
I have a really hard time believing this.
This is 100% true. I went back. I love spreadsheets. Donald Trump's is the first guy ever whose net approval rating in the first month of his second term is higher than any rating that he had in an entire first term, Kate Baldwin. This is true. I don't make stuff up. The numbers are the numbers.
I believe you in nothing except when you have it in the wall.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. That lady's face, she cannot believe the numbers. Let's go to a couple of other clips from CNN where the conservative guest just gives Abby Phillips the business. And in the second clip, they try to paint Trump as anti-cop. Unbelievable. Let's go.
And that's the problem. I'm not making a blanket statement, okay? I'm saying that you were making a blanket statement about rubber stamps. I'm saying there's plenty of evidence.
I'm not saying in every case, but I'm saying in a lot of the cases, it was political persecution, rubber stamped by the judges. Every single prosecution motion was granted, every single defense motion denied. Again, they showed a 22-minute video in this specific person's case in which they were only in it for less than 1 minute. They showed the worst moments of that day, 22 minutes. This guy's in there less than 1 minute. No violence, didn't break anything, didn't steal anything.
Are you
18 months in prison.
Are you comfortable?
Typically, when you see a protest, that person might get a $50 fine.
Listen, obviously,
we can't stand for that as Americans, even if we don't support, obviously, what happened on January 6th.
But can you stand for the people who assaulted police officers? You can stand for that.
I'm not saying I stand for assaulting police officers. Never would I. But I don't stand for someone getting an unfair sentence, whether it's assaulting a police officer or any other crime. You want to see people sentenced fairly. Like when we see so many black people in this country sentenced unfairly when it comes to marijuana.
Don't do that. No, wait. We ain't in it. No, we ain't in it.
Please explain to me why. Why would you want to see anybody
I don't want to see nobody. Don't do that.
Based off of their political party or the color of their skin.
Do the January 6th thing. Don't do the black people because
I'm happy to have a debate with you.
We've been going to prison unfairly for decades.
100%, which is why criminal justice reform is something that has been needed to be had for a long time.
Right, but we're not going to make January 6th into the book. Don't leave us out of it, man. Come on, man.
The concept is unfairly sentencing someone based off the color of their skin or their political party.
We do have to go. But
you know, Donald Trump has a long history of being very pro-law enforcement. He got more endorsements from every police union in the entire country than maybe any president of all time. So it's just disingenuous to say, oh, Donald Trump is cool with the Proud Boys beating up the cops. That's just
What are you
not
talking
true.
about?
Of course he is.
He pardoned them.
No, on that one particular day for those one, because that was a campaign. That was a campaign promise.
You're better than this.
What you just said was he's okay with them doing it like in the future.
They just threatened.
What do you mean?
They just threatened cops. They literally today went out and threatened cops, and he's okay with it. He's going to invite
How do you
him to
know
the
he's
White House.
okay with it? You talked to
He
him
just
today?
said he's going to invite him to the White House.
He just said he let him out
He
of
said
jail
he
and
would
he
be
can come
open
hang
to it.
out.
He said he would be open to it.
Oh,
Donald
okay.
Trump was
All right.
endorsed by
This
every
must be
police
tough.
union in the United States of America.
By the way,
These CNN panelists are absolutely ludicrous. I'm going to give you my thoughts towards the end of the video, but let's get to a clip here of Scott Jennings. This is from a couple of weeks ago, but since Pete Hegseth just got confirmed, I thought this was a great reminder, and also a base black woman speaking out on birthright citizenship. Let's go.
You want to have confidence in the current leadership of the Pentagon and the way the defense situation has been operating for the last several years. I mean, from the Afghanistan pullout, which was an extreme debacle for which no one was held accountable. We've had spy balloons flying over the United States. We built a $300 million pier as a public relations stunt, which wound up killing an American service member. I'd say I've had just about enough of the so-called insiders running the Defense Department. I think we ought to give Pete Hegseth a chance because he's got two
insiders.
All the criticism of him is that he's not the expected Washington pick. And I'm just saying to you that the American people just voted against the expected Washington pick. So he's got 20 years in service, Afghanistan, Iraq, 2 Bronze Stars, Princeton, Harvard. Yeah, he's on TV, but so are the rest of us.
By the way, that list
I think he ought
that
to
list
be
that you
given a
just gave
chance.
is really interesting because you highlighted a bunch of things that the civilian leadership of the country decided on. In the military, their job was just to execute. They execute.
How did it go?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
how did it go?
In terms of the decision making, you're assigning decision making responsibility to the military over things that civilians are responsible for.
So you make a good point. The civilian leadership made decisions, and then the people they put in charge of the Pentagon carried it out. And it was all pretty much a disaster. So now we have a new president who I think got elected in part because of some of those disasters, and he's going to put in some of the non-insiders in charge of not just this agency, but a bunch of them. Now, look, they've got to perform. They've got to perform. I mean, we got 53 U.S. senators that are Republicans, and Pete Hegseth, he's an American hero. The man won 2 Bronze Stars for his service, and he's been a champion for veterans. He's going to have to go up there just like everybody else and prove his knowledge of how to do this job. He's not immune from that, but we ought to give this man a chance, in my opinion.
18 states are suing Donald Trump right now for birthright citizenship. Let me tell you what that sounds like to me in my brain. Some bullshit, right? That sounds like to me when I break it down. If I come in your house at 9 months pregnant and have my baby in the middle of your flow, I get rights to your house. Basically, that's what the fuck birthright citizenship is. I had my baby in the middle of your living room, so I know you own this house, but I got parts of your house too now. My baby is a part of owning your home because I had her in the middle of your living room flow. That's what the fuck birthright citizenship sound like to me. It should have never been a thing. Your mama here illegally. Your daddy here illegally. And because she waddled her fat ass over here and thought she would give birth to you here, now y'all all just citizens. Just like that. For free. So keep in mind that American people, we just paid for her labor and delivery, her doctor, the fucking translator that came in there and translated everything she had to say to the nurses and doctors. We paid for that too, out of our taxpayers' dollars. And guess what? She ain't come out of a dime. Neither did he. Neither one of them came out of a dime to come over here and have that baby right here in the United States. All that was free. And then so was the citizenship. That was free too because they had a baby here. Get the fuck out of here. The fact that y'all don't see a problem with this is baffling to me. Because so she could just come here, lay on the table, have a baby, do that for free. But me, an American citizen, if I lay on the table and have a baby, they're going to send me a bill for that. They're going to send me a bill for that. And 6 weeks after I give birth to that baby, they're going to expect for me to get my American ass back up and go back to work and work for that child. To provide for that child, correct? But they can come here out of nowhere and y'all give them free Visa cards, free housing, the kids go to school for free. Everything is free. Everything is given to them because they crossed over here through a motherfucking gate. But I was born here. All my kids were born here, and everything I do is taxed. I gotta pay for every motherfucking thing. I gotta work to the bottom of my motherfucking bone for everything I have, and they supposed to just get what the fuck they want because they came over here on a boat. Get the fuck out of here. Look at the message America is sending to these people. This is why they migrating over here by the floods of people. This is why. Look at the message y'all sending to them. Just come over here and have a baby. Just come over here and have a baby. Just come over here and have your baby. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? I wonder, can you just go over there and have a baby and y'all just... If Americans was migrating to places like that, let's say all of us thought one day we get up and go to fucking China. They wouldn't allow it. If all of us start getting up and migrating to another fucking country, they look up and there's Americans everywhere. Do y'all think they would be giving us free healthcare, free benefit? Do you think another country would never allow this shit? And that's why Donald Trump is not allowing this shit, and I completely agree with it. The fuck? We can't get away with that shit nowhere. Okay, we all just found out America ain't shit, right? And we all was saying, oh, we want to go to China, we want to go to China. I want millions of us to start flooding China and see if they don't close them motherfucking borders. I want to see if another country just be like, oh, the Americans coming over here. We just letting all these Americans over here. It will never fucking happen. It will never fucking happen. Fuck your mama illegal, your daddy illegal, and just because you was born, now y'all just citizens. Absolutely the fuck not. You illegal too. You don't want to know why? Because you was never supposed to be born over here because they wasn't supposed to be over here in the first place. Something is not clicking, Richard. How are y'all making these kids American citizens when the mama wasn't supposed to be here and the daddy wasn't supposed to be here either? So the baby was never supposed to be born here. Your mama black, your daddy black, you black. Your mama white, your daddy white, you white. Your mama illegal, your daddy illegal, you illegal too. Fuck.
You know how all those cops went up in front of the American people a few days ago for the January 6th commission talking about how traumatized they were? Remember this guy?
Because I was among the vastly outnumbered group of law enforcement officers protecting the Capitol and the people inside it. I was grabbed, beaten, tased, all while being called a traitor to my country.
Yeah, that guy. Well, that guy was actually not in uniform. And he was not there as a Capitol Police officer. He was there as an FBI plant.
The dude was there, carrying a Confederate flag. You can't make this shit up. It's him, and he thought he was going to get away with it.
Once again, unraveling of the narrative, because the narrative wasn't strong because it wasn't true. So we can try again, try again, but guess what, guys? Release the FBI files, and you will see who's really guilty.
The leftoids on CNN are done. This is such a silly network. When they talk about January 6th, like it's the be-all and end-all, I will give the left one thing. They're very good at this. They're very good at taking one insignificant piece of history and making it seem like it's the biggest thing that's ever happened in the world or the worst thing that's ever happened, and they can cling on a topic and milk it for years. We should have done this with BLM. On the right, we're not good enough at this. Now, we're also not a bunch of lying hypocrites, but at the same time, we are not good at that. We should have had BLM vigils for the police officers like David Karn, who got brutally murdered by a BLM militant. We should have had monuments and statues. Every year we should have these memorials for these people that died during the BLM riots to counter this January 6th nonsense, because BLM was actually an assault on our democracy. It was actually violent. People did actually die. 25 or 30 people died during the BLM riots in 2020. They were worse in every way, shape, or form than January 6th will ever be, because January 6th was only one day. It'll never happen again. And nobody on the right, when it was happening, was saying, wow, this is a great idea. Let's go with this. This needs to happen. We all knew that it was a bad idea, that there was going to be bad consequences for these people, that they were going to be made an example of, and everybody said, shouldn't have happened. This wasn't great. When you look at the BLM riots, no Democrat came out and spoke out against it. The left were all okay with it, and we're still dealing with the freaking nonsense of it today, because what that did is it told criminals that looting, arson, crime is okay in these cities. And look at California. We're still dealing with it. You can loot up to $900 and nothing happens to you. It's ludicrous the impact that has had. It's had a lasting impact on our country. January 6th is just something that the left uses to distract us from things that are happening, like the invasion through our southern border. Now, when the one lady, bless her heart, talks about birthright citizenship, that shouldn't happen. problem is the people that come here because they want the stronger passport for their kids, because they want the free ride, cross the border illegally and have a baby, and your baby's just supposed to be American, or any country for that matter, right? Canadian, British, Swedish. It should not happen. We have Asians from China, from different countries in the world that have, say, a bad passport. Let's call it a lesser passport, because there's some countries, you know, Japan, Korea, America, Canada, most European countries have a strong passport. People go there, they'll have a kid in order for their kid to get the stronger passport and maybe to have some of the rights that are given to them by being born in those countries. Just because you're in the country for a damn second doesn't mean your kid should be American. That is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. One of the couples, the wife or the husband, the father or the mother is American, that's fine. Doesn't even have to be born in the country. Kids should be American. But you can't show up for 5 minutes, pop out a kid, and expect the kid to be American. Absolutely crazy. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button for your boy. Consider subscribing to the channel. Help it grow. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.